What is up, everyone else? This is just a little video about shoulder stuff, right? Just to help things feel a little bit easier in the shoulders. For it, you're going to need a rolled up towel. So I use this old blanket that I stole from British Airways. I mean, it came in the bag. I don't know if it was really stealing. I think it's okay if you take it, but this isn't about that. So what I do is I just take the blanket. You can use a big towel, fold it in half, hamburger style. Feel free to pause the video so that way you can run and grab a towel. So that way you got a hamburger, and then fold that in half so you have more of a hot dog. And then from here, you're gonna make a jelly roll. Right, so plop it on the floor and roll it up. And so depending on the size of your towel, you might not want to roll it up all the way, but start with it all the way. I mean, if you have like a massive roll, then maybe just unroll it a little bit, but you should have a relatively thin jelly roll like this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna place this along our spine. So we're gonna lay down. Those of you that know me know that this is one of my favorites. And so just placing this just beneath the shoulder blades, let the head rest on it. You might feel an opening in the shoulders, let the arms rest down by your sides. If this hurts at all, stop, right? Pain plus pain does not equal being better. Well, there's types of therapeutic pain, but that's for physical therapy, and I am not a physical therapist, so defer to them for those types of therapeutic pain. But this should be easy, this should be comfortable. If you feel like it's digging into your spine too much, just finding an appropriate place for that roll to exist. We just want to cushion that space between the shoulder blades so that the shoulder blades squeeze together. And just feeling that connection between the body and the surface that supports you. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. We just want to let the body open up here. Again, if there's any discomfort, stop. Move on to something else. And just taking a couple of breaths. Long sighing exhales can be useful. Just hanging out here for a few moments. Right, a lot of times we undervalue the importance of rest in the healing journey. We often want, what's the activity? What's the thing that I do? And sometimes the thing that we need to do is to stop, is to slow down. This helps us to approach the movement that we do make in a fundamentally different way. So just letting yourself get as quiet as possible, which sometimes is terrifying. And sometimes we don't want to get quiet because all these thoughts bubble up. And that's okay, let them bubble up. They're just thoughts, they can't hurt you. If you need to, take as many of those deep breaths in with long sighing exhales as you need to. Stay here for as long as you like. Right, sometimes it's nice to be here for 5 to 10 minutes. Right, just to let yourself rest, just to let everything reset. Particularly if you had a long day, if you're prone to being stressed out, just let everything rest and reset. But if you'd like a little bit of movement here, bring the arms down next by the sides of the body, palms facing down on the ground. And then as you like, just very gently lifting the arms up towards the ceiling, straight up towards the ceiling. And then moving the arms back down. What we're doing here is we're looking for a relationship between the arms and the rib cage. can you keep the rib cage soft? Not because we're forcing the rib cage down, but because as the arms move up, we're just very clear about when the rib cage starts to move. So if you notice the rib cage lifting up towards the ceiling, then let yourself stop the motion of the arms and let that movement of the arms come back down to the ground. So if you notice the rib cage move, stop the motion in the arms and come back down. This isn't about getting the arms over the head. This is about moving in a range of motion that's useful to us. About noticing what works for us, what doesn't. And again here, if you're more comfortable just laying down on the ground, stay there. Laying on the jelly roll. You can use a strap between the two hands, a belt, or just a scarf, but it's not necessary. Sometimes it can help to support the arms. And only move in a range of motion that's pain-free. So if you can only go up about 45 degrees, go for it before coming back down. Just noticing what you notice. And giving yourself permission to slow down. This isn't about getting a number of reps in, it's about noticing, how does my body feel? So when the body starts to feel tired, rest. Right? You don't have to keep up with me. Let yourself rest and resume as you like. And then when all of that feels complete to you, just let the arms drop back down to the ground. Just taking some time to feel into just resting once more. Maybe a deep breath into the nose. And an exhale with a big sigh. Breathing in again. And exhale with a big sigh. And just falling into a natural cadence of the breath. If you're loving it here and you want to stay here forever, keep staying here. Right? You don't have to move. There's one other movement I'd like to show you all, and it can be done in a number of ways. It can be done on your hands and your knees, which I'll show you first, and then I'll show you how to do it against the wall, which might be better for some of you. So if you look at this and you're like, I'm not sure if I can do this on my hands and knees, skip ahead to the portion on the wall. Right? But what we're going to be doing is just moving our shoulder blades. And so if you're on this jelly roll, just let yourself roll to one side. Maybe take a moment or two here. Just deep breath in and out. And then come over onto the hands and the knees. If this is a comfortable position. If you get up on your hands and your knees and you're like, oh God, no, why? Then this is not for you. And so feel that connection between, if you are still here, and if this doesn't hurt at all, just feel that connection between the hands and the floor, the knees and the floor, and the feet and the floor. And you're just going to push the shoulder blades away from each other, and then squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. I'm just going to push and pull the shoulder blades like this, just to move through the shoulder blades. Keep the elbows nice and long. It does not have to be a very big movement. You may just kind of be a couple of centimeters, which is okay. It's just about feeling that shoulder blade glide on the rib cage as you mobilize and groove. So you can do the same thing against a wall. And so essentially what you're doing is you're just kind of hands on the wall, and same thing, hands go on the wall, hands are about 90 degrees, and then you're just pushing the shoulder blades away from each other, and then squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other. Just pushing and pulling, being in very gentle ranges of motion. Again, if you can move in a small range of motion and there's no pain, stay in that small range of motion. If you move into a larger range of motion and there's pain, move back to that smaller range of motion. We want to help the body to recognize safety. We want it to recognize, oh yeah, you're not going to hurt me. And as the body builds trust, we can dive deeper into those larger ranges of motion, but that takes time. Sometimes we think that we should impose our will over the body, but that's not really what it's about. It's about working with the body. It's communicating with us at all times. And we just want to tune into what it's saying. And when all that feels complete, just let the arms drop down and notice how you feel. If you're on the floor, feel free to stand up just to notice how do the shoulders sit. Right? What do you notice, if anything? How does it feel to move? Right? And so try that for a couple of days. Let yourself connect to that as a practice, and then let me know any thoughts or observations that you have in the comments. Thanks.